Just a few seconds. Yep. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So, this is actually speaking in Tafsir Surah Taha, but something a little simpler than adult. So, we're going to make this fast rather than making it complicated, but it's going to be really focused on Prophet Musa alayhi salam and how does the story actually unfold in Surah Taha. So, the surah begins, Ma anzalna alayk. Everyone. So this is so the surah starts ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى, meaning that, O Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Quran was revealed on you. Don't make it too much of a burden on yourself. We didn't actually make you take on the mission so you could feel and start going into a burden and get yourself into that let's say heaviness. And therefore it's just a reminder for those that really want to be near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is this Quran from? Well, it's a revelation from the one that created the heaven, the earth, and the heavens that are very high, so that you would realize that the Lord Almighty is the Lord that is the most merciful, sitting on the throne. And He's the one that owns the heavens and everything that's on earth. And not everything on the earth only, but everything that is even under the soil that you see around you. And whether you speak in a loud voice, your Lord Almighty knows the very silent and even the very subtle words that barely anyone can hear. He's the Lord Almighty. You cannot worship, do not worship but the Lord Almighty. He has the most beautiful names that describe him. Did you hear of the story of Prophet Musa? The story of his, the story that speaks of him. When the story goes and starts, when he had seen a fire. So he told his family, stay here. I'm just going to see. I just see glimpse of fire from far away, and I would like to see what that fire is. Maybe I can bring the fire and actually bring a coal to probably warm us up. Or maybe I can, near that fire, probably find somebody to guide me and lead us or tell us the way. Then, when Prophet Musa alayhi salam came near it, he was called, O Musa, I am your Lord. Take off your shoes. You are in a valley that is holy. Now, Prophet Musa alayhi salam is afraid, and he's hearing this, and it said, and he said, when I have chosen you, so listen to what you are being told. I am Allah. I am the God. There's no God worthy of worship but me. So submit yourself to me and do prayer every time you would want to do that remembrance. Know that the day of judgment, the last hour, is coming. It is almost something that I hide from people to know, but it's for people to be held accountable. Every single soul will actually be held accountable for everything that it has done previously. So don't let anybody be a barrier, especially those that don't believe in it. And those types of people, they just want to follow their desires, whatever they entertains them. They just want to follow them, and they eventually go down and down and down, and no limit to how down they will go. Oh, Musa, what's that in your right hand? Musa responds, it's my cane. I lean on it. I use it to shoo away my goats, and I use it for many other reasons. Allah responds, then throw it, O Musa. Musa just throws it, and then it becomes a snake that he sees is moving right in front of him. Allah Almighty says, take it, Musa, and don't be scared. We'll bring it back to how it was the first time. Musa, put your hand in put your hand in your it's like in your chest, and not pocket, but it's more in the chest area, and then it will come out white with no illness. It will come out as white and glowing with light for everyone that can see. Another miracle for you to use to show to people. And that way, لِنُرِيَكَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا الْكُبْرَى, you will see miracles and great miracles. So go to the Pharaoh. You've got a mission. The mission, you need to go to the Pharaoh because he has gone beyond the limit. So Prophet Musa says, oh Lord Almighty, Ya Allah, let me feel that comfort when I'm making this da'wah, and make it easy for me, because he knew that it was going to be tough dealing with these people. And Ya Allah, untie a knot. And this is a metaphor. It's like saying, Ya Allah, let me have the ability and the power to be able to speak, in, clearly, so that way they can understand my words. And I need somebody to be next to me. So make my brother be the supporter from my family. Harun is what I choose, my brother. That way, my brother can be the one that can give me the power, support me, and back me up. And that way, I can have him be my partner in all the matters. Well, in what matters, we want to be able to remember your name all the time, and many, many, many times. And we want to be able to do the dhikr, remember you all the time and glorify you, Almighty. You're the one that can see us all the time. You're able to see us. And Allah Almighty responds, Musa, you have received the answer to your request. And you know very well that we had blessed you with something else before. So what happened? He said, oh, remember when we had sent an angel to your mother. We had sent a signal to your mother that she should throw you in a bassinet, or in a little bassinet, and actually throw you in the river. And then the river takes you. But who takes you? When she throws you in the river, your mother was so afraid. Your mother, of course, the mother was so afraid. The mother was afraid because the Pharaoh was ordering to kill all the boys that were born that year. So Musa was supposed to be among the boys that were killed during that year. But his mother, out of fear, ironically, out of fear, you are supposed to protect your child. But the Lord Almighty told her to do the opposite, because he is the one to protect him. He's the one to protect him, not the mother. You could think as a human being that you could be the protector. You could think that you as a human being, you could be the savior for your loved one. But the Lord Almighty knows better on where protection lies. So he told her to throw her son in the river, and the river actually takes him to his enemy, aduwwun li, to the Lord's enemy, and an enemy to him. But Allah Almighty put love within that fortress, even though the Lord Almighty knew that that Pharaoh is going to be an enemy to him one day. And the Lord Almighty already knows that that Pharaoh is his enemy. But the Lord Almighty flips the hearts and can make one even love whenever he wants. So he made those that surround him love him dearly. They loved Musa, including the Pharaoh, loved him. وَلِتُصْنَعَ عَلَى عَيْنِي. You will be created. You will be made right before my supervision. The Lord's supervision was watching him closely. He was going to be a special son that is going to be on a mission. When his sister walks and then approaches the fortress and approaches the castle and says, when they see this little baby is found in the castle and the king is calling out, we need someone to help this baby stop crying, and we need someone to nurse the baby. So his sister says, would you not want me to show you on who can actually be his caretaker, who can be his nanny? So he returns to his mother. When all the women would come one by one, she wants to be the nanny for the king, a special nanny. For sure, she will be getting good pay to feed and nurse their baby. But Prophet Musa, every single time he would nurse from a woman, he would get disgusted, and they could not find anybody to nurse the baby. So the Lord Almighty, when the mother comes, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, just a baby, a very small young baby, almost 2 or 3 months old, then he recognizes his mother, not by sight, but he recognizes her by taste, recognizes her, and the Lord Almighty makes him recognize his mother, because the Lord Almighty wanted to make the mother also feel the comfort and not feel sad that she had answered the Lord Almighty in throwing her son in the river. So the Lord Almighty has the full power to bring her back, and she was the only one that was accepted by her own son to nurse him. And then the Lord Almighty reminds him, remember. Why is he reminding him of all this? He's reminding him, like, listen, just like we didn't leave you those times when you were very vulnerable as a baby, and the other time when you were vulnerable as an adult, you have to see those patterns that you will not be left even when you're a prophet. And he says, and that day remember that day when you had killed someone. Did he kill him on purpose? Did he intend to kill him? No, but let's see what the story says. فَنَجَّيْنَاكَ مِنَ الْغَمِّ. Prophet Musa alayhi salam, these two just go into dispute, and Prophet Musa just gives him a little nod on the shoulder, and the man just drops dead. Prophet Musa salam didn't intend to actually drop anybody dead, didn't intend to kill anybody, but the man's hour just came and the man drops dead. Prophet Musa salam felt this deep sorrow, so sad on the inside. And Prophet Musa salam went through so many fears and troubles, because he was trying to save himself. He was trying to protect what is right. He was trying to stand up for justice. He ends up putting himself in trouble. And then, in order to run away from those that were supporting the man that was killed, who was this man that was killed? It was actually one of the soldiers of the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh considered that this was a direct threat to his army, and therefore he must not let this crime against his own army go without considering it as something dangerous and an attack on his own throne. So Prophet Musa alayhi salam runs away. He comes across a city. The city, he stays with them for a couple of years. The city, we know them in the Quran as Ahl Madian, the people of Madian. Then he comes and stays there. Did he really know what he was going to do? He didn't know what he was going to do. But then in another surah, it actually explains when he comes to this city. In another surah, it explains that he comes to the city and these girls were with these bunch of men. The bunch of men were trying to get water, and the water was actually covered with a huge stone on top of that water well. And they try to figure out how can we get the water. So they have to remove the stone, and they remove the stone and they get the water. But Prophet Musa recognizes that there were a couple of girls that were just standing on the side. They were supposed to be getting water, but the men just put the rock over the well again, and the girls just stand there. They don't get any water. Prophet Musa is watching, but Prophet Musa is a mighty man and a man of respect. He doesn't go intermingle with the girls and start talking to them like he's talking to a friend or a girlfriend or anything like that and sees girls. No. He just approaches. Why don't you get any water? Straight to the point. And they said, well, our father is actually an older man. In other words, we would have brought the man in our household to get the water and to do the outside public work. But our father is an elderly and he couldn't actually come. So we have to carry on this mission. Prophet Musa alayhi salam tells them that he'll be the one to removes the rock. Prophet Musa alayhi salam is not any other man. He's a man of power. It took all those men to remove that rock, but Prophet Musa alayhi salam alone moves the rock. The girls get the water and go. But the girls were actually smart girls. They didn't have a conversation with a stranger. They walk and go to their dad. One of them, a very wise girl, says, Dad, we actually met this man that helped us fetch water. And I forgot to say one thing. When Prophet Musa asked them, why didn't you get the water? They made it clear that they weren't going to be budging with those guys. They weren't going to be in a man's gathering, even if it meant getting water. So going back to the story, when she tells her father, she says, Father, this man is actually a man that has good qualities in him. He has a quality where he's trustworthy. He's an honest man and he's strong. Why don't you hire him? The best person that you can hire is a person of honesty and trustworthy and a strong man. So he tells one of his daughters, go get the man. Bring him to me. So she goes to Prophet Musa and says, my dad wants to have a conversation with you. So he goes. She doesn't say more. In fact, when she was walking shyly. She wasn't walking trying to show off her body. She was walking shy, that she's actually accompanying a man. She wasn't standing next to him. In fact, he was walking first, and she would say from the back, go right, go left, take this. And why? Because she wanted to preserve her modesty. Then Prophet Musa comes to the girl's father, and the girl's father realizes that this man, through the conversation, is a man of faith, is a man of honesty is a man of power. What more do I want? So he says, would you marry one of my daughters? And her mahr would be that you would work for 8 years, be the shepherd on my sheep. Prophet Musa alayhi salam agrees. So he marries one of his daughters, and the man tells him, if you continue for 10, that's up to you. Prophet Musa alayhi salam goes and gets married. For a couple of years he stays. And here, that's why it said, for a couple of years he stays with the people of Madian. And then he comes during that time, he comes to a specific mission. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, and I actually made you, I disciplined you, I created the most important qualities in you to make you prepared for a big mission. So go, you and your brother, with the signs and the miracles, and in order to be strong, in order to be ready and mighty and confident in the mission, don't ولا تنيا في ذكري. Don't be hesitant. Don't get pacified. Don't weaken from doing the remembrance, my remembrance. In other words, doing the dhikr is what's going to get you strong and powerful. How? When you remember your Lord Almighty on your tongue, the words, the name itself will give you the power of the Lord. The Lord Almighty will give you that power, and that's how you will get that power. Go to the Pharaoh, because he had definitely transgressed the limits of justice and truth, and tell him something kind. Why not something powerful? Well, you want to speak to the heart. So say something kind, something that will reach his heart, Maybe he will remember, and perhaps his heart would soften. So they said, "O Lord Almighty," who's they? Musa and Harun. They're talking to the Lord Almighty. They said, we are afraid that he might actually get angry and lose his temper, and then, or probably even go farther and might even kill us. So the Lord Almighty said, don't worry, don't fear. I am with you. I'm capable of hearing and capable of seeing. So come to him and say to him, we are the messengers of your Lord Almighty. So give us the children of Bani Israel, the children of Israel, and don't torture them. We had come to you with a sign, with a miracle from the Lord Almighty. With a miracle from the Lord Almighty. And then, وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَى مَنِ اتَّبَعَ الْهُدَى, and peace and blessings on whoever follows guidance. Inna qad uhiya ilayna. We had received the message that the punishment is going to be on those that reject the words of the Lord Almighty and those that turn away from the Lord Almighty. So I want you to look at right here. Now, he wanted Bani Israel. Was it a social justice issue? No, because he wanted to take the Bani Israel to be on the mission to deliver the words of La ilaha illallah. So the stories in the Quran were really telling us the story of what happened to the mission that was sent onto the Prophet Musa and the Bani Israel. Did they live up to the mission? Did they live up to the words of Allah Almighty? Or what did they do? So he goes, قال فمن ربكما يا موسى. The Pharaoh gets angry and he says, oh, so now you actually want to tell me that You have another God other than me? Well, if you want to say that you have another God other than me, who is your Lord, O Musa? So he says, our Lord Almighty is the one that gives, and in other words, gives everyone what they are needing to live. He gave everything that he had created, what it needs to sustain its living. And he also guided them. So he said, so what happened to the previous nations that came before us? In other words, he was trying to say, if you are a prophet, so what happened to the previous nations? He was trying to change the subject. So Prophet Musa responds, Allah Almighty knows about the previous nations. I'm just talking to you right now, so don't change the subject. And he said, Lord Almighty knows. And he had recorded everything about the previous nations in a book that will not misguide, that will not go away, and everything will be recorded. And your Lord Almighty does not forget. Now getting back to the subject, he said, getting back to the answer on who is the Lord Almighty, my answer is, he is the one that made this earth be spacious and be wide enough for you to walk on. And he created different paths for you. In other words, created different things on this earth for you to actually use. And not only that, but not only what you stand on is from the Lord Almighty, but he had even sent down from the heavens water, and this water from up above you, from the land that you walk on, from the earth that you walk on, to the skies that are up above you, they're all following the same pattern. And you could see, فَأَخْرَجْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِّن نَبَاتِ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. And the Lord Almighty teaches him, and Allah Almighty, from the water that comes from the top, the skies that rain, is what makes life and plants growing on earth. In other words, the top and the bottom are actually following one pattern. And you see in there many, many, many plants, many kinds of plants. Eat and feed your cattle. And there are those signs for you to see that your Lord Almighty is behind all the different things that you see living around you. Now, if you want to know furthermore, well, there are in it signs for those that actually think, that go beyond and deeper in the way they view the world, in where they think beyond the surface. From that same earth, you will be created, and you will also be just like you were created the first time, with the same power by the Lord Almighty. You will actually be resurrected, and you will be brought back to life, and you will be then resurrected and brought back to life, and you will be held accountable, of course. وَلَقَدْ أَرَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا كُلَّهَا فَكَذَّبَ وَأَبَى. But the Pharaoh, even though he was shown, Prophet Musa alayhi salam showed him all the different signs about the Lord Almighty, and that the Pharaoh is not God, but the Pharaoh insisted that he was God. Why did he insist? Because that was the only way his dictatorship can continue. He convinced the masses that he is God, and the people actually went for it and believed that he was God. So they worked and worked and worked, thinking that by serving the Pharaoh, they would get the bounties of life. So here, the Lord Almighty tells us that all the signs were brought apparent and clear for the Pharaoh, but he denied all of them and turned away. So the Pharaoh said, Did you come in order to get us out of our country and try to do the magic and actually use that magic in order to manipulate us through your magic? What did the Pharaoh want to say? The Pharaoh wanted to show that he was patriotic and he was really careful and he was really concerned about the people. Oh, and concerned about justice. Look who's talking. It's the Pharaoh who until these years was still killing babies, was still killing newborns because he was suspicious that someone might take over his throne. Now he wants to be the person to speak of justice and to speak as if he was the person that was patriotic and just caring about building a civilization that stands on people's rights. Well, sounds very familiar to me. So he said, Musa, he tells the masses, he's actually coming to take you out of your land. He's coming to take over and he's trying to manipulate us with his magic. What he calls his magic is really the miracles that were proving Prophet Musa alayhi salam getting power from the Lord Almighty that is behind what we see all around us. So the Pharaoh said, we're going to come to you with the same powerful and strong magic that you're coming with. And in fact, it's going to be even stronger. So let's agree on an appointment. Let's agree on an appointment. That way, none of us would actually walk away from this appointment, not us and not you, in a place where we would all agree on, it's a special place. We could all agree. We could all make this contest. So he said, well, how about that holiday that you guys all dress up and you're all ready and everyone is, having their day off. And that way it can be early morning when everyone is awake and everyone is fully awake. So let's do it after sunrise. And that way everybody could join. And the Pharaoh goes and sets all his plot. He works on getting whatever he can to combine forces of magic. Combine forces of magic? Yes, because he wanted to manipulate the people just like he was doing before in order to make the people actually think that he is God Almighty. So, قال لهم موسى. Musa tells them, how dare you? You actually create blasphemy, major clear lies on Allah Almighty. So fear when you create lies on Allah Almighty, Lord Almighty will actually فَيُسْحِتَكُمْ بِعَذَابٍ. He will punish you for creating blasphemy on the Lord Almighty. And every single person that creates a blasphemy and lies on Allah will eventually be revealed by the people and by the Lord Almighty. And they will be turned down. They will be humiliated. So they themselves were really losing their confidence. So they started, let's discuss this. How are we going to bring about a good magic that will prove Prophet Musa as a liar? What are we going to do? So they started, going into dispute. What should we do? And of course, when they go into dispute, it tells you that they're really losing confidence in themselves. So they kept it. It was a private meetings where they would discuss and see what kind of magic they should prepare. And then they said, those two magicians, what they plot to do is just to get you out of your land. Therefore, what are they trying to say? We're patriotic. We just want to make sure that our people are living on their land. Their people are actually safe in their city. And what else? They were like, well, we need to protect the way we're living. We need to protect our identity. We need to protect what we stand for. Remember, this narrative sounds very familiar, where they would confuse and manipulate the masses that they are trying to protect the way of life, the culture, the path that to them had led them to creating a civilization, the Pharaoh civilization. The pyramids, the math, the science that this city was standing on. So they said, this Musa is trying to take away all the powers that made us create this civilization. He's trying to take everything away. So they said, so combine all your forces and all your plot, all your powers, and join combined, strong in one focus, in one team. وَقَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْيَوْمَ مَنِ اسْتَعْلَى. So they create a narrative. Today is the day of pride, everyone. We are proud to protect our city, to protect our people, to protect our culture, and to protect our freedom, and to protect our life. Very familiar indeed. And then, so they said, oh, Musa, you either throw or we will be the first to throw. Throw what? Throw, in other words, right there, start showing off the magic that they had prepared and trying to show off all the different powers that they wanted to prove that Prophet Musa is creating a manipulation and the same kind of magic. So Prophet Musa alayhi salam says, oh, go ahead and throw it. The ropes that they had made to create that magic, and even the ropes and all the sticks that they had put, it started manipulating the eyes of the masses. The magic was so fearful for the people that it was something that made them feel like this is beyond, this is really scary. And they saw the ropes as if they were snakes, walking and moving in front of them. Prophet Musa alayhi salam أوجس في نفسه خيفة موسى. Even Prophet Musa alayhi salam had glimpse of fear in his heart. So the Lord Almighty right away sends the wahi and tells him, don't be fearful, Musa. You're going to be on top of all this. So throw what is in your right hand and throw it, and it will gulp up everything that they had just made and the plot of magic that they had been working on for a long time. What they had made is nothing but a plot of a magician. And no matter what plot a magic does, in the end, it will fail and fail because they do not control the keys to controlling nature. Right instantly, the magicians fall in prostration. The magicians go down and start making sujood, and they said loud and clear, we believe in the Lord of Harun and Musa. The Pharaoh gets so angry and gets so furious, and he says, do you believe in him before I had even given you the permission to do so? Verily, this man is even the biggest magician of all of you. He is actually the leader of all of you that actually taught you magic. I'm going to chop up your hands and I'm going to chop up your legs from the opposite direction, your left hand and your right leg. And I'm going to crucify you on the palm trees. And that way you will know who is the mighty one and who's the one that is going to last longer. So they respond, we will not put you before the Lord Almighty and what we had come with truth and clear things. And the Lord Almighty is the one that actually created us with the pure instinct. So do and rule what you want and judge what you judge. In the end, you only judge in this life. And we had believed in our Lord Almighty to forgive our sins and all the different things that you had put us by force to do magic. And the Lord Almighty is the one to be eternal and is better than all that you do. Whoever comes to the Lord Almighty, but go far and mujriman, meaning whoever comes to the Lord Almighty as a criminal by rejecting the Lord Almighty, then he will get hellfire. They will not die in it and not live in it. They will be there. And whoever comes as a believer, the Lord Almighty, if he comes as a believer and does righteous, so those are the people that will be granted heavens that is high and nothing better in it, where there's Jannah, there are gardens. Underneath it, there will be flowing rivers and they will be living there eternally. And that is the reward of those that purify themselves for the Lord Almighty. I'm going to come back, inshallah, in just a bit. And even the people on YouTube, we will be going out and inshallah coming back in a few minutes. So you guys stay here. I'm just going to go and put my husband another Zoom. Just be here, okay? You guys are safe. Hold on. How do you do this?